thank you all so much for having me here this evening. I look forward to what is to come, and I am super excited that all of you all are here to find out how you can either brush up your LinkedIn profile, or if you do not have one or you're in the beginning stages, hopefully you'll get some golden nuggets, as I like to call it, that can guide you along in the process that so that you're ready for all of the wonderful events that were just announced, especially that conference that you all have coming up. Well, I am going to share my screen, but I want to go ahead and open it up, and I will tell you a little bit about me, because you're probably like, who is this crazy lady that is talking and where does she come from? Well, to tell you a little bit about me, as I mentioned earlier, my name is Dr. Shantana Robinson. Everybody, including my students, knows me as Dr. Shay. My background is actually a doctorate in business administration. I won the fabulous firm that you all probably see behind my head called MFAT Creative Group, which stands for Management for a Day. So we work a lot with small business owners, but specifically resource partners that's actually looking to work with minority firms. So we help them build their capacity. So this workshop that I'm actually going to be presenting to you all tonight is actually targeted to you all, right? Individuals who are in great leadership positions, whether it be CEOs, executives who are attempting to make sure that they are connecting the dots, reaching those individuals that they need to grow their network. Even though I don't look my age, I have about 22, 23 plus years of business background experience. I'm also a college professor on 3 different college campuses in their School of Business as well. And my firm actually has some of your larger SBA contracts, specifically during the pandemic. We were the partner of choice for quite a few large institutions, including the WBC and the SBA. So we are happy and excited to be here with you all tonight. I informed her earlier, I like to keep it informal, right? It's past 5 o'clock. So with that being said, I'd love for people to chat. So please introduce yourself, because I'm new to all of you all out there. So I would love to know if everybody's like in Washington, D.C., or maybe there's some people joining from some other areas. Hello from Texas. And thank you all so much for joining us. And as I mentioned earlier, thank you all so much for having me here. So with that being said, let's get to the jam of why we are here tonight. So tonight I am going to be talking about LinkedIn and how you actually can utilize it to grow your business. I gave you all a little spill about me. I'm very easy to find on LinkedIn, and I'll actually show you all my page before we're done today. I'm also known as Dr. Bridge Builder. That is kind of like my personal brand that's out there for the public, that everybody knows me as outside of Dr. Shay. And people always ask me, how did I get that name? Well, simply put, it's because I always build bridges with everybody that I meet, particularly in the government and business sector. So I connect you all, right? For capacity and networking with each other. So hence, I got the nickname Dr. Bridge Builder, and it sucks. So that is how I got that fabulous name. I am also part of a really cool award-winning research team. We study nothing but movie marketing, marketing concepts tied to business, econ, gentrification, and anything around government and small business development, specifically if it's targeted towards minority communities and businesses. So that's been an interesting journey all in itself. So that's just some more little blurbs about me. So in other words, you all are in good hands, right? For this wonderful journey that we're getting ready to take. So as you all are aware, because you registered for the class, we are going to be talking about LinkedIn. So I first want to ask, for all of you who are here with us tonight, don't be shy. As you are opening up the chat feature, I would love for you all to actually share your LinkedIn profile with us in the chat feature. I know I got some brave people out there, so go into the chat feature and I want you to share your LinkedIn profile with all of us that are in attendance tonight. You can clearly see that I have on here that LinkedIn, as I love to say, is a gold mine of opportunity that a lot of people forget about when we mention social media. People are huge on Instagram, they're huge on Facebook, right? And we talk to our family, we talk to our friends, but when it comes to professional networking, if we're not physically in a space with individuals, it's kind of hard to connect the dots. Or it's a situation where we are in a professional space. Maybe we're on LinkedIn a little bit, but we're not for sure how that conversation goes, right? So you're in a meeting, you have somebody that you definitely want to connect with in the long run for potential opportunities. Maybe you're looking for advancement in your career. Maybe you're looking for an executive coach. Well, how do I connect with those individuals, right? And if I do connect with them, what will they think about my profile in the long run? When was the last time I updated my LinkedIn profile, right? So LinkedIn is a gold mine for people who are business owners, as well as for people who are literally looking to attempt to reach capacity in their leadership settings. I can use myself as a great example of that. With my company, probably a good 90% of our work and awarded contracts, even in the government space, has actually came via LinkedIn. Something as simple as using the search bar and finding and tracking down RFPs within our wheelhouse has literally brought in over 90% of the contracting dollars that we have actually done in the past 2 years alone. So there's a personal plug for how important LinkedIn is when we talk about growing your network and being an overall pipeline just in general. And I see that the chat feed is hot. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So it looks like quite a few people have LinkedIn profiles here. So fabulous. I love to see it. So definitely make sure that as I'm talking, you all not only take notes, take pictures, screenshots, and also make sure if you are already not connected with individuals that are here, definitely track them down on LinkedIn because you're going to want to start building those connections in the long run. Okay, so with that being said, let's dive a little bit deeper. There's a lot for you all to look forward to. I like to keep it fun and interactive. You're going to get some solid information, and hopefully by the time this is over, you'll have some great guidance about LinkedIn, as well as strategic tools and ideas built into LinkedIn that you all can use to grow your network. Because most people think that you have to, pay for like a premium account and all of this other stuff, or be on a specific team, like a company team that has a LinkedIn profile. When in actuality, you could just use a basic account like we do for our company, InFAD, and still connect all of those wonderful dots. Once this is over, there are some things that I want you all to do. Hopefully, you'll have a better understanding of how you, as a leader, future subject matter expert, or current subject matter expert, will be able to reach capacity and what it truly is when we talk about connecting those dots and reaching capacity. What does that look like? Under LinkedIn's umbrella, you'll have an accountability for your own network, right? So, in other words, you are connecting with the right individuals and you're not kind of like doing people do it on Facebook where it's like they have 5,000 friends, but you've only met like 5 of them. And the other 4,995 are just somebody that might have like interests as you. LinkedIn is about accountability, right? You are connecting with individuals that are going to build your network and therefore increase your net worth. Right? So that's why it's important for you to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable as you build your profile and that network that you are connecting to in LinkedIn. You'll understand the importance of a pipeline. So in other words, if you are currently a student, right, you're finishing up your master's degree program in business administration, and you're looking to work with some of your Fortune 500 companies. Okay, well, that's great. Well, if you go on Indeed, there's a lot of people that's trying to do the same exact thing. How can you separate yourself from everybody else? Who is the individual that's actually taking care of all of the hiring practices? Something as simple as getting on LinkedIn, getting that profile to where it needs to be, and sending actual invitations and direct messages to these individuals are so important and impactful. So we're going to talk about all of that and how that turns into a pipeline in the long run. Develop a game plan in the end. So once this is over, hopefully I'll give you some golden nuggets. And with those golden nuggets, you'll find out how you can connect dots and build a full-fledged game plan to get your profile to where it needs to be. So when you have the events that were just mentioned, as well as the wonderful conferences coming up, you are primed and ready, right? To build those connections and have them scan your wonderful little query code to connect with you, because you know that everything is up to date and current. And I always like to tell people, as crazy as it sounds, I like to have LinkedIn days, right? So in other words, I take time on specific days to literally just go into LinkedIn, do some digging, right? Stalk, right? Individuals that you are very familiar with, as well as individuals that you would like to connect with. And when I say stalking, I mean in a good, healthy sense, right? When we talk about building our network, find out some of the groups that they are connecting with. What does that look like? You'll be surprised by how many people you're looking to connect with also are connected to other individuals that can tie into your pipeline in the long run. So we're going to cover a whole bunch of stuff in this actual session, and I promise you, we're going to keep it fun. So now that I know that everybody has a LinkedIn account that's on here, I really don't have to talk about what LinkedIn is, but in essence, it is a professional social networking platform that people use to build their business, to build their executive connections, to connect with other individuals that are decision makers, agents of change, people who can potentially find funding for them, right? So there are numerous avenues that people utilize LinkedIn for. One of the big questions that I often get asked, not just with college students, but with individuals that came along in, as I like to call, the career field after the fact, right? So they are the individuals that are 50 and up, who maybe have retired and now they are getting back out in their industry, or they have an executive role. And one of the big questions that they ask is, LinkedIn was not around when I was around, because it didn't come out until like 2003. I was working in 95, 96, and even in some cases, the 80s. Do I even need a profile? And the answer to most questions is pretty straightforward. Depending on what you're looking to do, most cases is probably going to be yes, right? You have to make sure that you're mindful of what it is that you're attempting to do with your career and your future in the long run. Who are you looking to connect with? What will you get out of it if you actually do, create that LinkedIn profile? Do you have all of the information to even have a solid profile? Because the last thing you want to do is create one and it's just your name, right? And your name and maybe a headshot that's a selfie. Please don't do that. So you want to make sure that you really question, do you want one and do you need it? Which hopefully everybody says, yes, I do. And then making sure that you have an understanding of the role that that profile plays. Even when it comes down to developing your network and your brand, it plays an integral role in all of that. Increasing your reach, right? Online visibility. People always talk about how important like TikTok and Instagram is. And it's great if you want to do videos and imagery and visual presentation. But when we talk about the professional side of the house, having those conversations where you can't necessarily meet those individuals face to face, but you still want to connect, you still want to show yourself as a professional, that is your online visibility, right? And it's important for you to understand that in order for them to get a full picture of you, even when you're not in their face, one of your main silent sellers on the digital side of the house is going to be LinkedIn. And that is how they're going to get an overall idea of what you are about without you actually being in front of them. You also have to be okay with the possibility of, as far as connections do happen. And what I mean by that is, say, for instance, you're trying to connect with, I don't know, a CEO of a tech startup firm, right? You send them a message directly and you tell them how you have a background in IT and cybersecurity and AI, which is huge right now. And you've been following their company since their inception, and you're in the process of looking for an internship, and you're just trying to connect the dots and wanted to introduce yourself. The CEO responds, right? And they're like, great, here is my Calendly link. Schedule a meeting with me. I would love to talk and find out more about you. Are you ready? Right? So that's where that LinkedIn profile plays a role. So it's not just about getting the actual profile up and running and decide that you want to have one, but once you have a LinkedIn profile, are you ready for what happens next? Right? So all of that plays an integral role in the overall LinkedIn process. You also want to be mindful too when we talk about LinkedIn, some of the things that you can do. Of course, everybody knows you can upload a fabulous photo of yourself. That's just a given. But there's some other really cool key features outside of creating a standard profile that you all have access to. Networking. right? Getting in the actual comments of these individuals that are within your industry and showing yourself either as a subject matter expert or a up and coming subject matter expert. That is a form of networking, right? You're able to connect with other professionals that are in your industry, colleagues, classmates, these individuals that you would love to be in the room with. You can follow them if you cannot necessarily connect with them as of yet. You are literally building a solid foundation for those great relationships. If you're looking for work, you can do a job search on LinkedIn that's specifically targeted towards your industry. And you'll be surprised by how many job opportunities are actually on LinkedIn that are not on Career Builder or Indeed or Monster or any of these other job sites that are out there. Sometimes you have individuals that will go directly to LinkedIn and post to their company's main LinkedIn page, specifically looking for individuals to work for their firm, and they will not post it anywhere else. So make sure you don't sleep on LinkedIn when it comes to different job postings and positions, because there's quite a few opportunities that are out there. And that search bar that's up at the top on the left-hand side of your LinkedIn profile is literally the window to finding all of those opportunities. You can share content. And this ties into your search engine optimization, and most people don't know that. But on LinkedIn, as you're sharing information, you're actually increasing where your profile can be found, which is really neat. So make sure you share information from people that are in your industry and people that write up specific articles about something that's going on within your trade. Maybe it's something on the tech side of the house. So you are in computers, but this one's like cybersecurity, kind of ties up under the same umbrella. Not only comment on it, but also share that information, because as you share those different things, the threads, individuals can actually see who shared their stuff, right? And they can also come back, comment on it. Now they know that you are following them, and that in most cases you possibly agree with whatever was being discussed, and you actually can start building that pipeline via that way as well. Also, make sure you join groups. And this is one that people always ask me about, because a lot of people do not know that there are actually groups on LinkedIn that you can join. Very similar to how you have groups on Facebook. Premise is almost identical. But the difference is that some of your LinkedIn groups actually have live events where participants can actually all come on at the same time, host a class similar to this. They have specific authors that may come through, executives that may come through. I've even done a virtual career day via a group. So definitely make sure you follow groups that are within your wheelhouse, as well as join groups that may be on LinkedIn within your wheelhouse, so that you can start connecting those dots, because this is how you build your pipeline, have those discussions, and start to show yourself as a subject matter expert. Now, for any of y'all who are out there that are like, Dr. Robinson, that's a lot of talking, and I'm an introvert. I get it, right? Here's something else that's interesting about LinkedIn. Unlike Facebook and Instagram, where they always say you have to post every day, right? For your search engine optimization to be found, recognized. LinkedIn is actually not like that. Believe it or not, you can actually post in LinkedIn once a week and get into one conversation, and it will literally feed off of the thread. So it's not necessarily based off of how many times you post. It's literally based off of the discussion that happens with the thread and the utilization that comes along with it. So you want to make sure that you're mindful of that as well. So definitely take that into consideration, because most people automatically assume that all of the social media platforms run the same, but they don't. And LinkedIn is one where that search engine optimization is structured a little bit different. So you will find out on LinkedIn, you can post something on like Monday, and it'll just be a simple post, and it could be something like some facts about African-American business ownership that you share. Come Friday, it'll probably still be up at the top of your feed, because there's comments that's going on, people have shared it. Unlike when you are on Facebook, you can share that post, Monday morning, and by 12 noon, it's disappeared in the group. You can't even find it in some cases, right? So definitely be mindful of that. So that's another wonderful thing about LinkedIn, and the groups, as well as on your own profile when you're posting. It actually works both ways with that SEO. Number 6 on here is premium features. Not going to spend a lot on this because I am a stickler, as I was mentioning earlier before we got started. I only tell people about stuff that costs when it is actually needed and there's a benefit that's attached to it. Hey, Dr. White, I see you smiling at me as I said that, but it's the truth, right? So if I believe something is beneficial and there isn't a need to pay for it, like you literally can get your ducks in a row and still get the same benefits for free, utilize it for free. I have a whole working company with a LinkedIn account, and we have never bought the premium subscription service, right? This is where that search engine optimization and that search bar becomes your best friend. And if you go onto my LinkedIn page, personal page on LinkedIn, or the business page, you will see we really don't post like 5 times a day, maybe once a week. But we still get a lot of hits and a lot of traffic to both sides of the house. So you don't necessarily have to pay for the premium features unless you, for whatever reason, have to have like a mail service through your LinkedIn page, which you already have an email, right? So why would you need to pay somebody else for another mail service? The search features work great, but for some strange reason, they have it where you can pay for advanced search filters. Really not necessary. As long as you hone in on the words and what it is that you're actually looking for, you can drill down the data, as we researchers like to say, to find exactly what it is that you're looking for. And then, of course, there is LinkedIn Learning, which is something completely separate that you can possibly gain access to. But here's another golden nugget. A lot of the LinkedIn Learning information has been posted by users completely for free, either on their own YouTube station because they're part of the group, or actually by people who work for LinkedIn, who's just giving guidance on how to set up your profile, how to actually utilize the platform to connect with CEOs, how to use a platform to find a mentor. And those are just some that have popped up at the top of my head. So you actually have access to that information at no cost. So definitely make sure you take that into consideration. And then the last one that's on my list is just overall professional development, right? So when you're connecting with individuals like Dr. White, like myself, other individuals that you're familiar with, even people that are here today, that professional development becomes a key role because that is how you literally build your pipeline, right? When someone is looking to connect with you, now they see that your network includes, as I like to call it, heavy hitters. You have CEOs that you are actually connected with. You have people that have doctorates up under them that are researchers that you are connected with. You have executive coaches that you are connected with. So that professional development part is twofold. Not only is it professional development when you are reaching out to these individuals and you're able to connect with them, but it's also professional development when others look at your profile and see who you're connected with. And also be mindful that though that also ties into particular courses that you can actually take on LinkedIn as well, completely for free, that are tied into your professional development. And some of them actually have certifications that you can actually then move over to your LinkedIn profile, which is really neat in itself. So that's my gamut when we talk about LinkedIn and some of the really cool features that's actually on there. So here is, because I love to be colorful at times, something that kind of puts it in a small little synopsis, right? I consider LinkedIn your digital resume, right? We have a resume that everybody's probably familiar with, and I could tell a whole story about that. But on the digital side of the house, this is where people find you, right? Because if I've worked on the side of the house with Target, for instance, and I used to be their executive recruiter for the lower 5 states. Whenever we would have individuals send over resumes, it would always be a situation where you get like 6 to 10 seconds. I kid you not. If it's 5 pages long, you've already lost me. It's the same exact thing when it comes down to LinkedIn as your digital resume. It needs to be crisp and concise and to the point when you are literally trying to get individuals' attention. And I always like to tell people this is your chance where you don't want to use a template. Right? This is on you. This is where you need to speak to what you're bringing to the table. And who is going to know you better than you yourself, right? So I'm going to ask a question. I'll see what I get in the chat. Who in here with their LinkedIn account right now can honestly say that they have a updated headshot that's gorgeous and clear, that has current contact information on their page, and your about section is current as of today? Like it's current. See if I have any takers on here. because those are very important. All right, I don't see anything in the chat feed yet. Oh, I see a thumbs up with one person. Okay, good. And then I see one comment coming through. Okay, well, no worries. I tell people, oh, somebody says I got 2 out of 3. Hey, that's great. 2 out of 3. All right, good. I got another 2 out of 3. So I like to tell people when it comes to your digital resume, especially if you have conferences coming up or if you're in the market for like a new job, these are important milestones, right? So you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. So even when you are asleep, your digital resume is working for you. So contact information, correct and up to date. So your, actual name, right? Government name, as well as any type of little blurb that you may have about yourself. Like if you go on mine, you'll see that it says, Shantana, Dr. Bridge Builder Robinson. You'll see all of my credentials that's on there. A fabulous photo of yourself needs to be included in, because we want to see your lovely face. Who is the individual that is trying to link with all of these heavy hitters? So they want to see your fabulous face. And also make sure that you have what they call a cover page. And I'll show you all mine as well. And Canva is your friend when it comes to putting an actual cover page on your LinkedIn. So please don't leave just the basic little blue little header cover page that they have on all of the LinkedIn, because you're custom, you're an original, right? So you don't want to use a template. You want to actually create something that's jazzy, that speaks to you and what it is that you do and what you're bringing to the table, right? Have a good description in there, mention your brand, whatever it may be for you specifically as an individual. You want to make sure that your career journey is up to date. I've talked to individuals where their LinkedIn, they open it like in 2012, and they have not went back to it since. So definitely make sure that you update your career journey. And if you are a student, that's great, because you, as you see on here, need to have your education listed on there as well. List some of the actual classes that you're currently taking or have successfully completed. If you are a student on a research team, that's something worth noting. What are you studying? What are you researching currently? If you've been published, you have articles, you want to include that as well. You also want to make sure if you've been awarded anything that you get that listed as well. Any type of recent awards, and I even put regardless of the size, right? You want to make sure that that's included on your LinkedIn page. If you volunteer with what organization, information like that gives them a full picture. So if it is, 2 o'clock in the morning where you're located at, and you're nice tucked away in your bed, literally having a fabulous dream, somebody that's over in another part of the world, it may be 10 a.m. for them, right? That CEO is on LinkedIn and they're posting jobs and trying to find people that fit what they're looking for as far as their scope. And guess who they may run across, right? That has the background in tech or the background in project management. It may be you. And so the first thing that they're going to see is your LinkedIn landing page. So that's why you want to make sure that it presents the best you, even when you are knocked out, having like your, fifth or seventh dream, as beautiful as it may be, that they're able to actually paint a full picture of you. I had a real good friend of mine tell me she woke up one day after she updated her LinkedIn to a message in her system, and she didn't know who it was. The lady, she's never met her before, in a completely different country. And at first she thought it was a scam, but she read it in more detail, and then she went into Google, because we love us some Google, did some digging around, found out that the person was legit, and the individual said something to the fact, hey, I really appreciate the fact, that you came in on that comment for what was being discussed. And if I remember correctly, it was about Black women in sales. That was a discussion. And my friend actually runs a thriving company called Stimulus, and she commented on the post that was posted. This individual, the original author, sent her a message. And the message was something to the fact, thank you so much for that comment. And it was great and refreshing to see somebody that didn't just put, hey, I agree, but actually put some thought into their statement. I checked out your LinkedIn profile, and I would like to actually have a digital coffee chat with you. Let's connect. So that meeting actually happened, and it led to a 6-figure transaction, right? Just like that, within 24 hours, and she was asleep, minding her business the whole time. So that's why it's important for you to make sure that you put it all together. I want you all to make sure too, as you get ready for your conference, that you take these things into consideration, because I know y'all have a big conference coming along. Who's going to the conference? Everybody going to the conference? Get a thumbs up, hands clap. Okay, well, I hope that you all are going to the conference and you have fun at the conference and be safe at the conference as well. So here are some things that you definitely need to consider that I consider golden nuggets when we talk about getting conference ready, utilizing LinkedIn. You want to be prepared, right? So the first thing that I want everybody to do once we're done tonight is I want you to look over your profile. I want you to look over your profile, see if it's up to date and branded reflecting you. I also want you to check out other people's profile as well and compare. Nothing wrong with that. What are some things that you may be able to tweak on yours that you really didn't realize until you looked at somebody else's? Like, hey, I never thought about adding that, but let me go ahead and put, my additional credentials because it looks good on this particular profile. So it'll probably look decent on mine. So I want you to prepare your profile for the conference as if you were going to run into somebody and they were literally going to land you a six-figure job right there on the spot. That's how prepared I want you to be. I want you to take a flawless headshot. I want you to upload it. I want you to come up with a fabulous little hashtag for yourself. Get a nice little landing on the, as they call it, a cover sheet for your actual LinkedIn profile that speaks volume to you so that you have got that big part already situated getting conference ready. I want you to plan ahead. And what I mean by plan ahead is find out who's going to be attending the conference and then also find out who are going to be some of the guest speakers. Because guess what you do? This is what I'm infamous for doing. Anytime I sign up for a training session or an event, I find out who the guest speakers are and then I hunt them down on LinkedIn, because they're subject matter experts. I want to be in the rooms that they are in. I want to connect with the individuals that they know, because evidently if they're on the stage speaking to 5,000 people, they're doing TED Talks, they're conducting these different sessions, they're talking about how they're part of the Millionaires Club. I want to be at the table with you, right? So I need to find out who you know. And I need to connect to those individuals. And I know with Dr. White, that was one of the first things that I did when I was part of her cohort. I wanted to know more about her. It was literally session number 1. I don't even think we had started yet with Walker's Legacy, that cohort, and the Alabama MBDA. First thing I did, I hopped on LinkedIn. I could care less about her Facebook page. I wasn't trying to find her on Instagram, LinkedIn, because this is professional, right? I went directly to LinkedIn. I tracked her down very easily by her name and sent her a message. Simple as that, right? So I want you to plan ahead. Check for those speakers that you will be having in front of you at the conference that you all are getting ready for. And then look for them on LinkedIn. Check and see if you're going to have any besties, as I like to call it, business besties, executive besties, leadership besties, just friends that literally are going to the conference that you can connect with. So, and these people are different than your actual best friends. These are the professional besties, right? They may be part of some of the same clubs as you, same industry as you. So you connect on a level that's tied to professionalism. So you want to connect with them as well. Be like, hey, when are you arriving for the conference? Hey, can you look over my LinkedIn profile and I'll look over yours and we'll see, what it looks like, because sometimes the second set of eyes is so important when we talk about making sure that we're primed and ready. I mentioned earlier about connecting with individuals, right? Those guest speakers, people that may be in attendance. Send a message ahead, something as simple as, hi, my name is Shay, and are you going to the NAACP conference or the National Black Association Contractors event? I love to connect ahead of time. Something as simple as that. And I actually use that for the record because the contractors here just had a conference and I was there. Y'all can tell I don't do no kind of house building. I am not a general contractor, but I was in the room. I was in the room with them because that's where my jam is, to connect with individuals when we talk about government contracting, right? But it's just something as simple as that. You also want to make sure that you create content. So as you're building up to the conference and getting conference ready, come up with a really cool hashtag. Whatever the name of the conference is or the association that's hosting it, hashtag it, right? So that as you're posting information, getting primed and ready, 5 tips that I am going to be taking along with the conference, individuals that I would like to connect at this specific conference, you're literally increasing your reach and your platform when we talk about SEO. And something else that attaches to your search engine optimization that a lot of people don't know about LinkedIn is your headshot that I mentioned earlier. When you upload it, did y'all know that that actually ties into the SEO and where you can be found? And what I mean by that is if your headshot is labeled something like, I don't know, Robert Williams, right? That's your name. There's a person named Robert Williams, takes a fabulous headshot, and he loads it into LinkedIn. And the name on the actual JPEG for his picture is just Robert Williams dot JPEG, right? That's it. It makes perfect sense because his name is Robert Williams. So Robert Williams is probably a common name that probably quite a few men probably have. The way that Robert Williams can separate himself from all of the other Robert Williams that may be on LinkedIn is literally that branding idea that I mentioned earlier. That's what's going to separate him. So instead of him saving his headshot as just Robert Williams.jpg, he now saves himself as Robert Williams, the project management CEO, as long as it sounds right. But guess what's going to happen when he loads that picture into his LinkedIn profile? He's automatically going to get hits for project management. He's automatically going to get hits for CEO, as crazy as it sounds, because of how that picture was actually saved. So definitely make sure that you're mindful of that as well. Create that content. Make sure that you are staying relevant. And I also put on here something really cool to make sure that you are paying attention during the conference. So once you get to the conference, make sure as you check into the hotel, go into LinkedIn, because now everything's up to date and you are prepared. But go up under the events tab and verify that the conference actually has its registration on LinkedIn, right? And it could be something as straightforward, with the MBA Association, the event literally would just be your national conference, right? So you go into LinkedIn, open up the event, because hopefully it's on LinkedIn. And when you do, you're going to see all of the other individuals that are registered and at the conference as well. Peace, right? And so the message in some cases actually can even be structured for that particular event. It gets tailored. So definitely make sure that outside of having all of your information update, you download your query because you're going to need it, because you're going to want people to literally have access to you. So all they need to do is scan and go. Send those messages by checking boxes. So that becomes important for building your pipeline once you are at the conference, because there's going to be a lot of people, right? And you're not going to be able to meet everybody that is there, but you're going to have certain individuals that you really wish you would have connected with. So definitely make sure that you take that into consideration up under the events feature on your LinkedIn. I also like to tell people to create custom invites, right? And here's one of my favorites that I actually got from LinkedIn U. It's an invite template for a conference. This one right here is just straightforward. This is, hi, Jerry. It was nice to, meet you at the NAACP conference on last Tuesday. And it was something that you said about building connections and leadership growth that I absolutely love. That literally starts the conversation, something as simple as that. So it won't be a situation where it's like, who is this individual and how do they know me, right? Because you've connected the dots. You showed them that A, you was at the same event that they were at. B, you paid attention to what it was that they said. And C, you're on LinkedIn too, so let's connect because we're similar industries and I would love to make that connection, right? And I have the same thing on here for the speaker. Mention a takeaway that you got from the speaker while you was actually in the attendance of them speaking at the conference. So it's important as you start to build your pipeline and your network that you put all of these things into play. Now, does it have to be as wordy as this? No, it does not. Make it your own. But you want to make sure that you just take that into consideration. When you're at that conference, do not forget to turn on the Find Nearby feature on your LinkedIn app as soon as you arrive, right? This is literally your guide to see who is in the room that has a LinkedIn account, and it's built into the actual app. You will actually be able to personalize messages specifically to that particular conference or meeting that you may be at, and it will send it out. I will say this, I can put it on here cautiously, that sometimes the templates that you have are so standard. If you're sending it to everybody, it becomes repetitive. So please change it up, right? Make it a little bit more personalized as you're connecting those dots. Now, this feature with the conference, the Find Nearby, It doesn't necessarily have to only be used at a conference up under the events tab, but it is probably the quickest way for you to actually connect with individuals on a greater scale, if that makes sense. So definitely make sure you take that into consideration. For all of my wonderful folks that may be a little bit introvert, this is a great way for you to kind of break the ice a little without having to be in the person's face, right? So you do what I call like a soft introduction. To the person, and you're able to connect with them in that way, kind of break the ice, and then go from there. So definitely make sure, because this is one of those hidden gems that people rarely talk about, but yes, the Find Nearby feature is going to be your friend when it comes to those conferences that you will be in attendance to, as well as if you're just at a regular event. Up under LinkedIn, if you go up under the events tab, a lot of corporations and your networking groups are actually starting to put their events in LinkedIn as well, because they have realized that even though they have like Eventbrite to register folks, they just put it in LinkedIn to show that the event is happening. So it alerts people that there is a capacity class that's happening on next Monday. So I registered for it on their Eventbrite link because I got it via email, and I'm part of their group that's on LinkedIn. It shows that the event is happening next Monday. I walk in the room for the event next Monday, and it's like 50 people, right? And this is only for an hour and 30 minutes, and somebody's going to be talking up front. I'm not going to be able to connect with all 50 people, but what I can do is open up the LinkedIn app, go to that events tab for that particular event, and it shows me everybody that's registered for the event. Hit the Find Nearby, shows me everybody that's in the room, customize a message, literally send out an alert to everybody that's in the room that I would like to connect, who I would like to connect with. So don't pick everybody unless you want everybody, but you can literally see who's in the room and connect with the ones that you are genuinely interested in. So if you take away anything, this is going to be the big one from this. Make sure you're using that Find Nearby feature outside of making sure your profile is beautiful and up to date. All right. So with that,
hey, Dr. Shay, I had a quick question. I'm sorry.
Sure.
That Find My feature, do you have to have your locations tab and stuff on for that to work?
Yes, great question. Yes. So with that Find Nearby feature, it literally runs off of where your phone is located. So you will have to have in your actual settings of your phone, you will have to have the location open, right? So that it can actually ping you where you're at and then track you at the conference to tell you who is actually in the room with you or at the conference. Great question.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. I tell you, tech can be great, and sometimes it can get a little scary at times, right? So I always like to tell people when it comes down to LinkedIn and just in general, you have to have what I call best practices. So here are some of my best practices when we talk about LinkedIn. Research others on LinkedIn. Nothing wrong with that. Earlier I called it stalking. This is professional stalking. You want to find those individuals that you would love to connect with, companies that you potentially would love to be an executive with. Maybe you are looking for an internship. Maybe start your own business. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, you want to make sure that you connect with individuals that are within the wheelhouse and industry that you are looking to get to, right? Those milestones that you have set for yourself. So research others on LinkedIn. Find out about them. Only follow people to build your network. And I put this on here because this is extremely important, because unlike, Facebook and Instagram, as I mentioned earlier, with the 5,000 folks, that's great, but we're talking about dollars and cents, right? Your network needs to determine your net worth. So that's why it's important for you to follow people that are going to build your network, pour into you, give you guidance that you can actually piggyback off of and run in those circles to continue to build your pipeline. Join groups in your industry. And I always tell people not specifically just directly in your industry, but also to the left and the right, right? So within the same wheelhouse. So you may be in computer intelligence. Make sure you follow groups that's revolving around like AI, cybersecurity, research teams that are building out new programs for SEOs and search engine optimization, tech startups, right? All of those somehow or another attached to your specific industry. Just as an example, and may not be directly, but they still play a role. And this is how you build that pipeline and that network. Review your profile on a regular basis. please don't have a picture from 10 years ago posted of you, right? I still look the same. I want to put that out there. But there's quite a few people you might have changed over the past 5 years, right? So make sure that you update your profile with your picture. If you have a branded idea with your name and concept, all of that needs to evolve and change and be reflective of where you are here and now. Attend events on LinkedIn. And there's some that are all digital. One of my favorites that I love to go to is with the Bow Collective. They have great Tuesday throwdown for leadership that they do from like 11 to 11:15. It's literally 15 minutes of fire, as they call it. They come on live and they just talk about Black women in business and government contracting. And they have these women who are millionaire plus business owners that come in and they, just drop all kinds of knowledge of what it is that they are doing. So attend events on LinkedIn. You'll be surprised how you can actually meet other individuals and connect those dots. Upload items into your portfolio. You don't have to pay for a portfolio, right? And have a whole separate website. Consider LinkedIn your professional website for you. This is where you show everything about you that makes you great. Articles that you've written. If you're a student and you have an awesome project that you got like 100 on and it was your capstone and they loved it, right? This is where you toot your horn as an individual to show what you're bringing to the table. Be clear, concise, check your spelling, pay attention to your verbiage, the how and the where, utilize standard terms, answer comments as a subject matter expert. So in other words, you see something and it's a great article, please don't go on there and be like, yeah, that's fab, right? Or, hey, bruh. No, we don't want to do that because you never know who's reading your comments. So you want to make sure that you're showing yourself as a subject matter expert because you never know, right, who your audience may be that's coming through the thread and reading some of your comment. Comment on others' posts. Pay attention to your search engine optimization. Have a clear understanding of your goals that you're trying to achieve. And update your resume and your bio because both should actually be the first two things that you load into your LinkedIn profile, right? So you want to make sure that they are updated when you put them on there. And I always like to tell people, just keep your LinkedIn profile professional, right? I don't have a fur baby that I actually purchased. I have a fabulous little cat who just was born in our backyard, and I love him like he was literally my own, and I purchased him. His name is Moscato. But you're not going to find Moscato anywhere on my LinkedIn profile. But you will find him on my Facebook, right? So that's what I mean by keep your LinkedIn profile professional, because this is all about the professional image and you as an actual professional and what you're bringing to the table. So there are my best practices. And lastly, this is something that I think is extremely important. Sync your device. Your calendar is your friend when it comes to LinkedIn. Most people don't know this when it comes to the events, but when you go in and you sign up for these different events on LinkedIn, they actually have it where you can buddy those events into your calendar. Nothing wrong with that. Please do it, matter of fact, because this is going to keep you on task when it comes to events and deadlines. And it's important for you to have a clear understanding of that. Check that calendar on a regular basis. Make sure that you color code it. I'm crazy like that. My calendar is all different kinds of rainbow colors because different colors mean different things. Green means money. Yellow means new opportunity. Red means it's something immediately that needs to get done, but I may not like to do, like taxes for a business owner. Yeah, we don't like to do that. That's why it's in red. So make sure you color code different things on your calendar as well. Utilize those different built-in tools that are part of not just LinkedIn, but also your calendar because they actually can connect between the two. Plug in different events, plug in mentor meetings that you may schedule on LinkedIn as well because your calendar is going to become the offshoot of LinkedIn and become a real good buddy and companion to your LinkedIn account. So definitely make sure you're mindful of that as well. Resources that you can use to scale your LinkedIn account. Of course, there's LinkedIn University, and LinkedIn University is great for individuals who are going hardcore with LinkedIn, like you are trying to go the premium account and just connect with everybody, and you're going to write like an article a day, and it's going to become like your official job, like you're going to be a LinkedIn nomad, as I like to call it, with everything that you do. You then have LinkedIn Learning. which does have a fee attached to it unless you do the LinkedIn Premium account. I always like to tell people just skip on down to bullet number 3, LinkedIn YouTube channel, because that is where you can get a lot of that information at no cost. Some of the really cool tools on how to like change out your headshot, because sometimes people struggle with that because tech can get a little wonkers. How to make sure that your website, if you have another website that you want to link to, it is connected. If you have a business and you want to connect that to your LinkedIn profile, how do you do that, right? So the YouTube station that they have is great, and it gives you all of these really cool, vital little tips and tricks outside of some of the ones that I just mentioned that are very beneficial for you to grow your profile and your pipeline as you continue your journey in leadership and headed towards capacity. So, as I like to say, anytime I close out stuff, anytime you hear the words no, think of it as just a new opportunity, right? And literally, that's what it is. It is a new opportunity. I tell people all the time, I've had individuals be like, yeah, no, that's not going to work for us, or no, we're not currently at that state for what it is that we're looking for. I just think of it as a new opportunity. It is a new opportunity for me to expand my reach and connect the dots with other individuals, because a lot of times those no's lead to other opportunities as a whole that are pouring into not just me, but my company. So definitely make sure you are mindful of that. And I always like to tell people in the end who I am again. It's me, Dr. Shay. Please feel free. Email me, check out my website, and most importantly, go find me on LinkedIn, because that's what we've been talking about for the past hour, right? So go find me on LinkedIn, see what I am up to, and I'll actually share my LinkedIn page, because I always tell people when I talk about stuff, I like to be about it, right? So I'm going to share my page real quick with you all so you all can see what mine looks like. So this is my LinkedIn page. So that is me, the fabulous Dr. Shay, and my wonderful cheesy smile. And I hope you all can see it because it's showing that it's sharing on my side. And this wonderful little LinkedIn header or cover sheet, as they call it, was actually built in Canva completely for free. I kid you not. Notice, as I mentioned, you should definitely have something that describes you. So I got Dr. Bridge Builder here because that's my little wonderful moniker, known as a business architect. I have my website on here, got my email address for people to contact me. I got my company listed on here as well. So it has its own LinkedIn page. Notice how detailed I am. Full name, all of my accreditations, and baby, we got alphabet soup. I know, because all of you on here, y'all know the process, and we want to make sure that everybody knows exactly what we are all about. So you have the opportunity to literally tell everybody what you're bringing to the table in a short synopsis, right? They even have a section that says, what does this person talk about? I talk about small business, entrepreneurship, startup businesses, diversity, and inclusion. Those are the primary things that you will hear me just gab on and on about. Right here is where you can actually include a website. So for me, when you click on my build capacity here, it takes you to my company's actual website. So for you all, you can possibly connect to a personal website page that you may have. If you have a Facebook public branded page. So in other words, it's a page, not the family one, right? But an actual professional one on Facebook. That's where it will link to. Like for me, I do have a Dr. Bridge Builder Facebook page. And you go there, it's open to the public. I talk about all kinds of stuff business. And it's actually linked to my LinkedIn page. So they're actually connected. So there are so many things that you can do. And as you can see right here, yeah, I don't have a premium account. Somebody was like, are you really? You don't? You can clearly see I do not. And here's some of the different resources that I have listed. I got articles that I post, documents. This is your bread and butter. Those hashtags are so important. And I tell people all the time, this is where you grow your network as a whole. Make sure that that about section, you tells individuals about you, and it speaks from the first person, right? That's another question I get. Should it be first person or third person? It's about you, and you're the person that's writing it. So in essence, it should be directly from you and what it is that you are bringing to the table, and make it a reflection of you directly. So please don't make it sound all stuffy unless that's just what you're going for. And you can read over mine and you can tell it fits my personality to a T. So definitely make sure that it's reflective of you. Got your experience listed on here as well, education listed on here, any type of licenses, skills, endorsements, which are fabulous. Have those listed on here, recommendations, all of that good stuff. So LinkedIn is definitely something that you can utilize to grow your leadership and your capacity as an executive, regardless of what industry you're in. Here is that search window that I told you all is great for utilization. I'm just going to type in the word internship and see what pops up, just something as cheesy as that. And literally, that's how you start to drill down your information. You can see posts from my personal network, what was posted in the past 24 hours, past week. And all you do is you can go to the left-hand side, see about jobs that were directly posted revolving around internships, or you can even go into the group section. Like, there are so many different avenues to actually engage LinkedIn. And TJ Maxx is hiring, and so is Target, in case y'all are curious, for their supply chain management. And those are internships. And all I did was hit the search bar and just typed in the word internship, popped open, and then hit jobs. And so here I am. And you can even save that information. It even tells you if those individuals are actively recruiting. And in my particular case, it even tells me how many people have applied. Like, this one only has 5 applicants, right? So, and they're actively recruiting, and it was just posted a week ago. So definitely make sure that you utilize all of the wonderfulness that is LinkedIn, because you can definitely spend a couple of hours, right, engaging LinkedIn and getting it to where it needs to be so that people are able to find you. And I want you all to actually connect with me. So definitely don't hesitate to send me a wonderful link request via LinkedIn. And I would like you to introduce yourself. So this is going to be your time to personally send me a message, be like, hey, Dr. Robinson, I was in session with you with the, the MBA, and, my name is whatever your name may be, and I would love to link up. I want to hear about you, because believe it or not, I have quite a few people who are business owners and people who work in corporate America that have positions available. So you never know. You never know who you may run into. So with that being said, my good people, thank you all so much for having me with you all tonight. And look, I am always a stickler for time. I'm from Military Town, USA. My spouse is military. My dad is military as well. And it is exactly 6:30 my time. So I'm on time. So thank you all so much for having me. It was an enjoyable, wonderful session. Wonderful session.
Well, thank you, Dr. Robinson. I got my notes over here, so I was like, so many nuggets. Thank you so much. Did anybody have any questions for her before we get ready to close out? I'm trying to watch the chat. You're welcome. Well, if you're not connected on LinkedIn, please do reach out to everybody on the call right now. We have, I think, 60 people here, and in addition to Dr. Robinson and myself. I'm looking forward to updating my profile, doing some new things with it. I am a LinkedIn stalker. I was just telling her before, like, I love LinkedIn. I've gotten sponsors, partners, just really had some amazing connections just by saying, hey. And what I learned too, I don't know if you talked about this, when you do a connection as a person, use those 300 words. Like, don't let those go to waste. Whether it's I love your topic, and you make a comment or congratulations, it's really important. I know I'm supposed to echo. I don't know why it's echo. I have no idea. It's not. It's me. Oh, there it is. It's gone. It's gone. Great. Thank you, whoever said there's echo. So that's what I know. Don't waste those 300 letters, those characters. Like, make sure you put something in there, especially if you like what they've said, or maybe they post something you're related to, or as you mentioned before, when you go to conference, it's coming up, saying that, I'm also a thought leader in this space, or I want to be a thought leader in this space. And just really take all these nuggets, and I hope you can apply them. And I look forward to seeing you all on LinkedIn and at the conference. And I'm going to just say thank you again, Dr. Robinson. It was a wealth of information. The recording will be shared with those who registered. So in case you missed something, I'll make sure you get it. And always continue to support the DC chapter of Black MBAs. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for those who are in DC and are members at our rooftop mixer for the summer. Hopefully the heat won't be as bad. So let's keep our fingers crossed. All right, but thank you all again. I'm Dr. Coletta S. Hurt, current president of DC chapter, and thank you all. And Dr. Robinson, we appreciate your time. And
yes, you're welcome.
Some wonderful information. So All right, everybody have a
Fabulous.
great evening.